Welcome to the Women in Vinyl podcast with Jenn DiEugenio, founder of Women in Vinyl and contributor Robin Raymond. This podcast facilitates conversations with those working in the vinyl record industry to educate, demystify, and diversify the vinyl community.
Thanks for listening to the Women in Vinyl podcast. We're currently on a little summer break, but wanted to bring you a brief insider's view of our time at Record Store Day Camp in New Orleans. Hear from record store owners like Tenisha of the world-famous VIP in Long Beach, to Joe at Byrdland Records in Washington, D.C., for a little insight on why they love their job and their customers so much. Stay tuned after the brief record store chat to hear our previous episode with Anouk Rijnders, the COO of Record Industry in the Netherlands. I will be joining Anouk in September as we head to the Haarlem Vinyl Festival, which she helps to curate. It's an event of fun and celebration with vinyl vendors, presentations, live music, and more. Grab your tickets now at haarlemvinylfestival.com, and we'll see you back here next month. Enjoy the episode.
My name is Tenisha, and I work at Out of the Past Records. My family has owned a record store for over 58 years, so I grew up listening to music and even being in a record store. The advice I have for someone that's trying to look into getting into it is you must have a passion for music. If you don't have a passion for it, I wouldn't advise you to get into it. You must love music. What is your favorite thing about working in a record store? My favorite thing about working in a record store is meeting new people from all over the world. And I'm just a record baby, period. I love music, so it's easy for me. I don't look at it as a job. It's something that I love to do.
My name is Andrea Freeman, and I am co-owner of Yellow Dog Disc in Wilmington, North Carolina. And my favorite thing about working at the record store is Record Store Day. So it becomes a week of working and getting to see all the titles as they come in, unboxing them, making the videos, making sure everybody is aware of what's coming out and how many orders that or how many titles we're gonna have of each one. And the other thing I like is meeting new people in the store. So getting to know our customers, getting to know what they like, and like we've had some kids that have come in since they've been 2 years old and now they're 12 or 14, and it's really cool to see them grow in their music and taste that they like. And then what is something that the rest of the supply chain should know could make my life easier is when I do inventory each year, if they could put the SKU, I know that sounds really crazy, but the SKU is always at the top, the bottom, the back on a sticker upside down, or in a different shape on each placement of the record. But if it was in one location, that would be amazing.
My name is Riley Kindler. I'm a manager at Clarizio Music Center. And one of the coolest records to come through the shop, I think might be, we had a collection that came in, and it was all this like really trashed kind of older stuff. And we're filing through it, and there's a copy of the Butcher cover in there. And it's like an almost flawless peel. It's old, the record's kind of beat up, but that was really, really cool. My biggest pet peeve that shoppers do is either ask me if something's on the floor when it's like the display piece on the floor. That bothers me a lot. Or when they don't push the bins back. That kills me. Somebody with like underlying OCD, it's just the worst, and I hate it. Yeah.
Hey, this is Tenisha Anderson-Laux from the world-famous VIP Records in Long Beach, California. The question is, what is your favorite thing about working in a record store? Well, that's a tricky one because I don't know anything else. I was born and raised in a record store. I love the vibe, the atmosphere, the culture, the fact that we get to connect to the people within our community is big for me. And the fact that we get to be able to also be instrumental in the creatives that come across our store, if they wanted to be recording artists or musicians or music producers, all in-house, we're able to service them from start to finish. And so I'm very happy that we have that opportunity to be able to make impacts on the lives of other people. The next question says, what are some of the things you're excited about happening in record stores or you're part of the industry. I'm excited just about the reemergence of physical music. Yesterday, here in summer camp, we talked about vinyl sales and cassette sales and things like that. And I'm just happy to see that there are music enthusiasts out there that are still buying physical pieces. So I'm excited about being able to share the sound qualities and all of the things that come along with physical formats. The next question, what are you feeling on indie retail releases, multivariants in stores, or other ways vinyl is currently marketed for releases, excuse me. My feelings on indie releases right now is that a lot of the new releases are not first printed in physical format, so they get to have all these digital sales first before actually being able to be on a physical format. And it does not give record stores like ours the opportunity to be able to make a living or to be able to optimize sales. And so I am not necessarily happy about the fact that most music comes out in a digital format first, but excited that we are still able to share the music with people.
Hey, I'm Emily Ravita. I work at Monster Music and Movies in Charleston, South Carolina. I am the manager there. My favorite thing about working in a record store is pretty much the people and the customer interactions, and just being around new music every day and discovering things and turning customers onto it and them turning me onto stuff that I didn't know about. It's just really cool to see people picking up maybe their first record they've ever bought and me being a part of that. And it's really rewarding to see the young kids come in. There's people that I have a lot of fathers and daughters that come in together that I've seen since they were in like middle school. Watch them grow up. Some of them are in college now. Some of them work for us now. Like, it's really cool to just be a part of the community and get to know our customers and have relationships with them. It makes it really meaningful to work at a record store and to just be on the ground, like, just really a part of what's going on with people buying music, physical music.
Cool. What's up? This is Joe Lappin, co-owner of Byrdland Records in Washington, D.C., and happy to be here with the Women in Vinyl crew at Record Store Day Summer Camp. Man, you know, we've been doing it for close to 10 years now, with the Byrdland Records location close to 4 years now. And honestly, my favorite thing about it is seeing people with smiles in the store, finding cool things that either they were looking for or weren't looking for. I know it's kind of corny, but I see so many smiles from strangers every day, and I don't get that a ton in other parts of my life. So it's really cool. You know, some interesting things that have happened lately. We just came across a really large used collection, actually. Working with some people who were preserving a lot of vinyl, and have had the occasion recently to be going through it and slowly cataloging it and getting it out of our store. And it is so much cool stuff. A lot of really excellent old compilations, old show tunes, old Broadway compilations. In fact, some of this stuff was preserved by Library of Congress, and it was surplus. And, you know, it's kind of a uniquely DC thing to see how far back some of this stuff goes. So that's kind of a neat thing that we've been working on the store the last few months. Let's see, I'll tackle one other question maybe. One thing I knew we do, another thing we've been really working on this year, we've been sort of sustaining and launching a record club. We've got about 50, 60 people in it, and just having fun with these people as sort of our VIP regular customers. The challenge of trying to help, you know, please 50, 60 people and manage a record club but seeing the benefits of how it creates, customer loyalty and community within the store. And we call it New Columbia Record Club, which is kind of a play on words. But DC, if DC were to be a state, one of the proposals for the name of it would be New Columbia. There was a New Columbia Statehood Commission. So every month we also have a local album that's one of your choices for what you could be getting that month. And it's spanned from old stuff, Emmylou Harris, of course, Bad Brains and the Discord catalog, up to new stuff. Mary Timony's new album, some of the local bands that put out new albums, some of the local labels, Electric Cowbell, Jim Thompson in DC. So there's some great niche stuff too that we can put in this flow, and with the goal of just, again, creating community and educating some people around the old and new of Washington DC music.
My name is Rachel Braun. I'm the manager of the Poorhouse record shop part of the Poorhouse Music Hall and Record Shop. My favorite part about working in a record store is fostering a really cool sense of community around things that we all love, like music and physical media. I've generated a lot of regulars that come in, and we turn each other on to music. We tell each other to go to shows. We play albums for each other, and we've helped bolster local musicians to actually sell records and have a following, all because of a community hub like a record store. It's an important thing in our town for sure. The coolest record to come through our shop is in our shop currently. Our sound guy, who's in his 60s, is a local legend, and one of his friends gave him his entire record collection that was probably the greatest punk record collection I've ever seen. A bunch of original Germs, original Cramps records, original UK Nevermind the Bollocks. But the highlight was when he gave me a box of 7 inches, and most of them were just crappy unsleeved Bing Crosby, Jethro Tull, whatever, boring singles. I pulled out all the picture sleeves, and there was an original first pressing of Nervous Breakdown by Black Flag. So, most expensive record to ever come through our store. It's still available if you want to buy it and have deep pockets. But it was the wildest experience. I was holding maybe 10 7-inches and thousands of dollars. The original Cramps in there, an original Middle Class record. It was a nuts day. Oh, how did I find my way into the industry? I'm sitting next to him. I used to live right across the street from Grayface Records when Ray was the manager. And I used to go there. He gave me recommendations for a lot of bands. We nerded out over stupid shit. And that's where I learned what an important piece of community that a record store is and what a record store clerk does. And it was all downhill from there. I bought my first records at Grayface, and then I've been working in record stores ever since.
My name is Shelby Guest. I work at Plan 9 Music in Richmond, Virginia, and I am a jack of all trades. I do scheduling, all pre-orders, I do all social media, all events and booking, amongst many other things. My favorite thing about working in a record store is that I get to watch people grow up and become regulars in our store. Ever since we started doing Taylor Swift midnight release parties, we now have kids as young as 7 or 8 who now come in our store every week with their parents, and they buy something, and it's become a really cool process over the years I've worked there to watch people go from being a really casual customer who's kind of afraid to talk to us to being someone who's coming in and walks right up to us and goes, "You guys got this, and you got that variant that I wanted, right? Amazing. I knew you guys would take care of me. This is perfect. I'll take it." I found my way into this industry completely accidentally. I had a full-time job running my own business during COVID, and I loved what I did, but I said if anything popped up that was a dream job, I would throw a resume out there. And Plan 9 posted that they were hiring, and I actually grew up in Plan 9 as a child, just shopping in the store with my parents. And so I was like, this would be a dream job. I have to apply. And it worked out completely naturally where they met me, and they were like, oh, you have a lot of music experience. You play in a band. Wow, okay, this would work out great. And I got hired, and it's just been so lovely. It was so organic, and now I work with my boss, and I have a picture of him from 2008 of us together at a music festival, and he's in the background and doesn't know that we would know each other then 12 years later.
On this episode, we get the chance to sit down with the one and only role model and badass Anouk Rijnders. She's the COO of one of the largest and most renowned European pressing plants, Record Industry, as well as Artone Studio. She has helped produce the publication Passion for Vinyl, which has a third part coming soon, and most recently is a founding member of the Haarlem Vinyl Festival, a celebration of vinyl culture in all of its aspects, taking place at the end of the month in the Netherlands. Anouk tells us how she juggles it all, her path from sales manager to COO, and how her passion for vinyl remains strong after over 23 years in the industry. Enjoy. Well, in order to get started, Anouk, why don't you tell us a little bit about Record Industry and how you found your way to vinyl?
Well, I've been working for Record Industry since 23 years now, so that's quite a long time. I'm already joking that I've signed up to stay there till my pension. Why not? Because I really, really like the company. I like the product. I like the people we work with. And I like it that in actually my job is never the same. Each year is different. And that's because I get the freedom to do a lot of great things. I like the book, the festival, and everything. But I started with the company in 2000 it was. Before that, I was doing something totally different. But before that, I worked in a record shop, actually, because I already was a huge music lover. I started in a CD shop, later in a vinyl record shop. And then when Ton asked me in 2000 to come and join the company because he needed a troubleshooter. He just took over the factory 2 years before that from Sony Music, and he had no idea what he started with or in because he was a computer programmer, but he had his own record label, and Sony told him, well, we're going to stop with the factory, so we need somebody to take over. Are you interested? And after a while, he just thought, I mean, they were looking for other people to take over. But then one day he thought with his companion back then, why not? I mean, we need our vinyl for the record labels they were running. So let's just do this. So that's how he became a record factory owner after being a computer programmer for a long time. And I was already befriended with Ton because my boyfriend actually was one of the producers he managed for the record labels. So Ton was pressing the records for my boyfriend. So in 2000, I was in between jobs, and he asked me to help him out, and I was like, why not? I mean, I love the product. I wasn't particularly charmed by the building because it was totally not sexy, like this concrete building somewhere on a industrial site. It was like, oh, what am I getting myself into? And back then it was still like, it was a flashback. It was Mariah Carey, Destiny's Child. It was all these Sony women hanging all over the plant, you know, and it was like the 70s, 80s vibes all over. So, right. But I thought, I mean, let's go for it. And once I started, I just got hooked because of the many aspects that's involved in making vinyl.
That's awesome.
Does the record store that you started at still exist?
Yes. Well, I started in a CD shop, actually. That was like a long time ago when CD just became popular. But after that, I worked at Concerto, which is still one of the best record shops there is in the Netherlands. It recently celebrated its 60th anniversary, right in the city center of Amsterdam. And I work on the second-hand department. Yeah. And I mean, that was like 30 years ago. And of course, it wasn't like it is now. I mean, I recently visited the shop and it's just like 90% vinyl, 10% CD. And when I worked there, it was perhaps 40% vinyl, 60% CD. So that's really interesting to see.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is a day in the life like for you? I know that your role has changed over the years. So what does that look like for you now?
Well, at the moment, like this month, I'm next to the job I have for the factory, of course, which is managing the order part, like where the orders come in, and making sure everything is placed in the system, which is done by my colleagues. I don't need to do that myself. The studio I run, and just everyday problems which occur in a production, how do you say, production area, like things with print work, customers with a problem, the special things that happens a lot during the day. But I've been really busy with passion for vinyl book, like making sure all interviews were done in time, and design, and it's now at the printers. End of August it will be done, but I've also been really busy, or still am really busy, with the Haarlem Vinyl Festival, which actually took a lot more time than I thought when I said yes to be part of that. So it's like juggling a bit with my time, but I like everything about it, which makes it easy to put as many hours in a day as possible. So it's a bit of everything. Like for the festival, I'm involved in. I'm like together with 3 other people in the board. But next to that, it's like thinking of the subjects for the conference during the day, approaching people, just using your network to make it work. Sponsors. I mean, so many things. It's a whole new world opening up for me, involved in organizing a festival I had no idea of. I mean, the book publishing was something I had to learn, but this is something totally new. So officially, it's not part of my job, but it became part of my job, and I'm really happy that I also get the space to do so. Although I'm not sure if Ton and Mika know how many hours I put in the festival, but that's fine. Too late to say no now.
Yeah. Yeah, festivals are sneaky. They're there's
yeah,
a lot of
especially because it's a tight budget. I mean, you can't hire full-time people to take care of everything. So I had no idea, but I love it. It's great.
That's awesome. For those people that maybe don't follow record industry on Instagram, which you totally should because they make amazing things. You guys are a full service kind of soup to table thing. You do everything at record industry, right?
Yeah. We offer the one-stop shop, to call it, to give it a good name, to cover it all. So since 5 years, we even have the recording studio upstairs, where we do direct to disc recording, which I love. I mean, it's my baby. It's so amazing to be able to offer this, to have musicians over, and it beats a live performance. I mean, stress-wise for the musicians, it's even like more intense. But the fact that you're recording what they are making straight to vinyl, or I should of course say lacquer or DMM. That's amazing. But after that, the whole process, we have it in-house. So the galvanics, we have the press shop, of course. We have our quality control, the print shop, folding the sleeves, and also packing and everything. But also like special things, foil numbering, and well, from A to Z, we do it all in-house.
That's great.
And some like really wicked print options too. That stained glass disc that you guys did blew my mind. That was incredible. That was incredible.
That was for Seasons of Mist. That was one of the best, to be honest, because stained glass just works. And the secret, of course, I always say it's the best of both worlds. You have an amazing picture on one side with no grooves, and perfect audio on the other side. So it's the best of both worlds. So you can only have audio on one side, but it makes it so spectacular. So especially for a double album and only 3 sides audio, it really adds something to the record. I agree with that. And indeed, the stained glass was amazing. And we're getting more and more requests for that. It's UV printed, so we print it on the record.
Nice.
Well, and that's like, I mean, that's kind of a weird specialty area that you guys have kind of not cornered, but like championed and like spearheaded, I guess, because not a lot of people were implementing or using a UV printer specifically on records. So I mean, that innovation in itself is like commendable, but so cool. Also.
Thank you. Yeah. It's just, it's one of the things I get the freedom to look into, because we kept getting requests for picture discs, but we simply don't offer them because, I mean, we have enough to do. I also would love to do flexi discs, for instance. From a marketing point of view, that would be an awesome product to offer. Yeah. But we have enough work already with the work we have. But picture discs kept coming back. And I mean, the picture discs you buy now are, in general, quality-wise, not what we would want from a record, because quality is always number one for the records we make. But then I thought there must be another option. I mean, we do lasered records. You do things like that as well, right? Or you do the engraving.
Yeah, but with my tiny little hands. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we get like a supply like that as well, but next to that we laser them, like how you send a window. That's also how you can add a design on a lacquer. But then I thought it can be a picture as well. So let's look into what we can do.
Do you use the UV printer in other print? Like, does it print on other things too? Like,
yes. Well, actually, the company we're using is doing advertisements, like big screens and all kinds of marketing material. So it's a special UV printer, and of course we tested it on and on and on to make sure it didn't influence the audio. And he has a special mold, and we even show it online, so it's not a secret. But you have to have a company nearby, and they're just 2 minutes away from where we are, who can do it for you. And it's also, they understand that they have to be careful with the record. I mean, it's not like a blaster. Yeah.
Dinner plate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. I mean, it's still a 30 euro record you're printing on. So they take care of it.
Cool.
And how many presses do you have there?
We have now 42 presses.
Oh, wow.
And we're still adding.
How many people work with you?
I think we're now 140.
Wow.
Gee, that's amazing.
Yeah. And we work 5 days a week, 16 hours a day. So
2 shifts, I guess. Yeah.
2 shifts, and about, on a good day, 50 to 60,000 records. On a bad day, it's a lot less, but that's how it goes.
Yes, you never know.
What's your guys' plant minimum?
Like order-wise?
Yeah.
300.
300. Okay, cool.
Since this year again, because during the pandemic, when there was so much demand, we increased it to 500, simply because 300 takes more capacity. It was hard to explain, but a smaller order takes up a lot more time. But I'm really happy we could go back to 300, because many small labels just don't sell 500 records. So for me, it was always really important that we could go back to the 300 option.
What's your turn time right now?
It's 14 to 16 weeks, but we're a bit short-staffed now because of the summer holiday. So I hope it will be back to 12 weeks soon, which is a perfect turn time.
Because it's Europe, so you guys actually make sure that people go on vacation. Weird.
Yeah, like 4 weeks. No.
Yeah. Why do live here.
What would you say are some common misconceptions you come up with or come in contact with a lot when it comes to manufacturing? What are some things that people are always asking you?
Well, what I still find like it's actually quite amusing that even people who've been in the business for quite a long time, but also, I mean, some people have no idea that a record has only one groove. So when you put the needle on the record, it just starts till the end, and you can't put the volume lower for track 2 or 3. I mean, that's when a customer gets their testing and they're not quite satisfied about the track 2 or track 3, and then they want something changed in between, and they just have no idea or what RPM is and what it takes to actually get the audio on the record. So I always like it as well to be able to inform people about that, but it's so common for us to know what it takes, but for many people it's just not. So I yeah, even as I said, people who've been in the business for quite a long time sometimes still have no idea about the technique involved in making a record, and that's also at the same time the part that still, like, it can mesmerize me. If I walk through the production and I see a record coming out of the press, it's like amazing, the technique involved to get these tiny little grooves. And Robin can, I mean, from her side of the production, isn't it amazing? But yeah, at the same time, it can just surprise me that people have no idea that it's just one groove. But once people do know that, they get so much more respect for the product itself.
Yeah.
And that's also what I like when we have people over. I mean, we get more and more musicians actually coming over to see their product being made.
Oh, good.
And the respect they get for the whole production process, it's really great, because it's such a labor of love from start to finish.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's totally true.
Yeah.
Are you noticing that you're getting a lot of similar requests and things from the people that are coming to the shop or giving orders in right now? Like, is there a certain color or like splatter or something that you're doing that people want a lot?
Well, yeah, it's indeed more and more color. It used to be a lot less color, like more black and then just a small part color. But the colored vinyl is getting more and more popular. We don't offer splattered yet. To be honest, we have now the Phoenix Alpha presses, and they are much more capable of doing funny things. So we'll look into that soon, as soon as we're up and running, because next to the Phoenixes, we're now working on our own sleeving machines, so we can sleeve the record straight in the inner sleeve. Most Phoenix presses just press on the spindle, but we prefer to have them sleeved automatically.
Yeah, because your old machines used to do that, right?
Yeah, yes, indeed. They have a sleeving unit, and we now have developed our own sleeving units as well for all the Phoenix presses. As soon as we are done with that, we can look into the special things. So we could even start investigating picture discs, but then like awesome audio with a great picture. But that's the last on the list of things we want. Yeah. But indeed, colored vinyl is popular. Special print, people are also interested in special print, unique numbering, things to make it more collectible. And they're also willing to spend more budget on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I also find interesting, and I'm not sure where that's going. Of course, people want things ecological or environmental friendly, and I always say never throw away your record, and you're as environmental friendly as you can be. Yeah.
I agree.
And we in our production facility, we're actually taking care of the environment for quite a long time already, recycling all the black vinyl into our own production process, even the flesh. When we press a record, you cut off the outer rim, and I think many press shops already do that, but you take it back into production right away, for instance. And the colored vinyl, we dispose it, and it's used for floor tiles, and the paper is reused. We even reuse the cooling water from the press shop. So we recycle as much as possible. But customers ask for what can we do more. I mean, our print shop is FSC certified. We have biodegradable inks. So there's a lot of things happening. But people also want to know about special boards. I mean, we could print a sleeve on elephant grass paper, which is a special paper grown especially for, the environmental side of things. But once customers hear that they need to pay like €1 per sleeve extra, it's like, okay, no, never mind. So,
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing.
Too expensive.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People want it, but they can't afford it still. So yeah.
Well, and how involved or hands off have the Netherlands government been? Like, are they involved with regulations and things like that? Or are they supportive of things that you guys are doing and your innovation? Do they guide that process at all?
We're the one press shop in the Netherlands for a long time. So they couldn't be bothered with the fact that we're a vinyl pressing plant. Now we have two in Leeuwarden. There's a small press shop called Jeep Grooves. They have 4 presses.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of strong regulations. I mean, we're like any industry in the Netherlands is under quite a lot of checks. I don't know the right word how to say, but there are a lot of things we need to prove, live up to. We just can't make any mistakes. We need to do things in the proper way, which is good. Even our PVC, I know in the States and many other countries, you can still press records with PVC containing lead, for instance, but we can't. So if you buy your PVC from Thailand, that's not healthy. I mean, for the people who work with it. But in Europe, we need to live up to the REACH regulations, which have been set many years ago already. And they're as, how do you say that, heavy as can be? No. Like it's a lot of rules we need to live up to.
Yeah.
And they're all set by a European government.
Right, by the EU rather than just the...
Yeah,
got you.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I mean, that's kind of awesome though, because that means that you're looking out for your people, the environment, doing it the right way. I mean, and it shows everywhere around the world that it can be done these ways. You just need to care a little bit more or do it better.
Yeah. And of course, you have also a lot of things like taking care of your people, having a lot of, you need to take care of them. And those are mostly Dutch rules set by the Dutch government. And that's fine too. I mean, we try to take good care of them. In many ways, it's already a healthy production chain we have.
Yeah.
Are your staff kind of a mixed blend of genders and identities and things like that? Because I noticed when I was in the Netherlands that it was a pretty vibrant community. Everybody was kind of able to do whatever they wanted and fly whatever flag that they wanted. And it was really, really great and such a accepting kind of place to be. So does that extend onto your production floor?
For sure. Yes. If we would have a world map, we would have, these little maps with pins you can put in all the countries. Well, we would flag a lot of them, I think. Yeah. So that's cool. And even though in production, when I started working, I was one of the few women, actually. There were just two, me and somebody in the office. But now it's more and more women in production as well. And I really like that. We've got some awesome press operators, which really actually press great records. And you actually have Dalma interviewed for the Women in Vinyl. She's now quality control. So from press operator, she's now started quality control a few months ago. So I like that a lot. Like
That's great.
She's really, really involved in the company as well. She's got a great heart for what she's doing. But I mean, to be honest, yeah, the gender, it's all fine in our company. It's fine. So and now we actually have quite a lot of people from Ukraine working with us as well. We're really happy with them. And happy they're part of our team, because the way they work, we could learn something from that, to be honest. Yeah.
There's something about the Eastern Bloc where they get it.
Yeah, they're is I don't know if that's a good English word, but their ethos, their the way they are dedicated to the job. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it seems like that's part of your culture at Record Industry too, because like, I mean, you've been there for 23 years. Your press ops are moving from press op to QA, so it seems like nobody really wants to leave the record industry. And
that's true. Yeah, we recently celebrated our 25th anniversary, and we had, I believe, 7 people. We actually, when you work with us for 10 years, you get a golden record. And for 25 years, well, we had to come up with something new. For 10 years, it's a 7-inch. Yeah. So we decided, well, for 25 years, you get a 10-inch.
Oh, cute.
And we had seven people with the company for 25 years already.
Incredible.
That's
great.
Amazing.
That's so awesome.
And yeah, there are many people who've been there for quite a long time. So that's amazing. And that's part because it's a great product to work with, but also because we've got like a family type of company. It's like a mom and pop shop.
Yeah.
And how's it been moving from your sales manager kind of job all the way into like one of the headiest honchos of the spot? Like you're kind of you're the boss bitch in charge now. It's awesome.
I am. I keep forgetting that sometimes. I never share my position. Sometimes it's even funny because then in the studio, I just love being the roadie. Actually, in my next life, I want to be a roadie. Whenever a band comes in for the studio, I'm just there, and I just roll the flight cases and I do everything. And then during the day, they ask me, "What are you doing actually here?" And I'm like, "Oh well, I'm the CCO." And they're like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "No, it's fine." It's fine. But that's just I like it. Or somebody once asked me if I did the catering. I was like, "Yeah, I do that too." That's So I like to be hands-on, and that's actually also the mentality Ton and Mika have, who are the owners of the company or who initiated the company. They're a husband and wife. Like Ton is the CEO, and Mika is the CFO, and the three of us were just like a great team. And one day I just was thinking, I mean, I've been sales manager for a long time, but I found myself explaining when people ask me, "What are you doing?" Like, okay, I do this and that and that. And I'm a sales manager, but I do also these kind of things. And then I just decided it does need to, I mean, sometimes it can come convenient. It can be convenient that your function title actually covers it all.
Yeah.
So I just made this mind map of what I was actually doing. And I just presented it to Ton and Mika, and I said, well, I think it's time I get another position, another name for my job. And then it became the commercial director. So here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I think it's awesome too that you did that and decided that you needed to have that title change, because I think a lot of us don't stand up for that and all of the work that we're doing. We just start doing it and then we're just like, this is the job now.
Yeah.
So
And sometimes you just do need some like muscles, which is given to you by the job you do. And as I said in the beginning, I know I don't really very often use it, but sometimes it just, if you need to get some things done or open a door or anything like that, it can come in handy.
absolutely.
But in general, I don't have it under my email. I don't have it on my business card because, I only mention it when it's really, really necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, you flex when you need to, and I love
Yeah.
that. I mean, it's like it's a beautiful thing because it shows that you have a grasp on every single level of what you're doing at record industry, but it also like it allows you to flex when you need to, but you're not asserting dominance over everybody all of the time. So
not at all. No.
I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, but I also like. I mean, sometimes when we're doing extra work during the weekend, or when people need a hand, I'm there. I mean, I love helping out on the packing department or picking up something on the floor because, just giving the good example. That's just how it works, and also because I like to be part of that. And also, for instance, during the holiday season, the end of the year, Mika and myself, we just pack the Christmas gifts for all the people ourselves and hand them over because you want to say thank you to everybody. That's just how it is. And it can be 30 people or 130 people. It's the same. For us, it's the same.
Yeah. It's your team. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we all like to know everybody by name. So like not like who's that? No, you just you just introduce yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you've got people that are there for 25 years.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Oh, is that the reason? No, but yeah.
Oh, I mean, I haven't done anything for 25 years other than walk around. So.
No. We have a lot less records to press than we had last year. And that's not only for us, that's the whole pressing industry or vinyl manufacturing industry. There's a lot less work. And the first to notice that are, of course, the smaller shops. And they need to make a lot more money to be able to continue working because they need to buy all their work. Like they need to pay for the galvanic development and everything. And when something goes wrong in that chain, the customer comes to them and they need to take care of it. And it's a lot more difficult for them because there's a lot more risk involved than it is for us with everything under one roof. And what I hope, and it's already happening, I hope it will not be a price war, like it used to be 10, 15 years ago. I think it was 15 years ago. There wasn't as much work as there was now. And there was a lot of low price vinyl, which doesn't necessarily mean you have a good record. But for the companies that want to live up to a certain quality, it's quite hard to maintain to do so. And we didn't drop our prices because we wanted to compete with a low price pressing plants. And I mean, because of that, we're still there because it is quality. You have quality print, quality audio. But for all these new companies, it will be difficult to keep on pressing vinyl, I think.
Yeah, I think it's hard, because a lot of the consumers don't know the difference too and what they're getting quotes for. So they might reach out to, a Czech Republic plant or something and ask for pricing and then ask me for the same thing and not realize that maybe that's being cut DMM and I'm cutting lacquer, or not realizing that it's, 140 gram versus 180 gram or whatever. And so then they want you to lower prices, and you're just, it's coming up against that, where everybody's like, well, this is a lower price. Can you beat that?
Yeah. Yeah, you just simply can't. And I mean, I always try to explain, but when you have your record press at Record Industry, you get a lot more than just a good record. You also get service, you get after sales, you get the delivery date we commit to.
Yep.
You know, they try other brokers do that, of course, but also other pressing plants. They just say they could do it in 6 or 8 weeks, but very often they can't.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. I mean, there's too much capacity at the moment for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And where it will lead to, I don't know. But I'm to be honest quite confident that record industry will survive. It's not even like we're surviving now. We're just still pressing a lot of records. Yeah. So because we have become much more like a brand. Record industry is a brand, and that's what I work for really hard. With the books we sponsor Record Store Day. You know, we do a lot of things on the side which don't necessarily right away bring more work for record industry, but we support the format vinyl. And in the end, that also helped us to build the brand Record Industry and get a certain popularity for vinyl in general. I mean, we even I worked on a school project last year to get vinyl into the high school to teach children what a record is and how cool it is and how the audio gets in the groove. And we had a pub quiz we made about vinyl and also CD, by the way. It wasn't only vinyl, but just a physical carrier.
Cool.
Very cool. Well, you mentioned the book and also the vinyl festival. So since we're getting close on time, I would love for you to kind of tell everybody about those, where to find them, how to attend, everything.
The book or the festival?
Let's start with the book and then go into the festival because you have so many things going on.
Yeah. It's funny that I get into things like this quite often, like why did I say yes to everything? But it's amazing. The book is like the crown on 25 years record industry, with even nicer, more amazing people we interviewed, from Jenn to Robert Trujillo, and we now also have Liz Dunster from Erica Records. We try to get more women in the book for this edition. So the book is just a celebration. It's called Passion for Vinyl, and that's because it's so great to talk about vinyl. And when we now have about 30 people in this book, and it's interesting that there's just one storyline which came up in each story this time, which was that vinyl and music in general is passed along generations. So many of the stories have some content about what people grew up with or what they teach their children and the records that changed their life. And that was somehow became a continuous story through many of the interviews we had, which is why we have a subtitle, Tales from the Groove, because it's just tales. And the book will be released in end of September during the Haarlem Vinyl Festival. And it's part 3 of our series of books. Although I decided not to call it a part 3 because I was told that part 2 and 3 don't sell that well. So it's just Tales from the Groove.
Like it.
So that's a tip for your second book. Don't call it part 2. And the book has a really nice 7-inch again. So there's a 7-inch added to the book with a track from Monster Records in Madrid, and Love Monk, also a label from Madrid. So that's a nice added value. And I'm really proud of this edition. And then there's the Vinyl Festival. Yes, a celebration of the format vinyl in many ways. Like we have the record fair, we've got a lot of live music, and all the musicians performing have music out on vinyl, because that was one of the key things, of course. Or when it's a young talent, they have a 7-inch, or we help them to get a 7-inch out. So
That's great.
That's a sponsor thing we're doing. And the festival is a cooperation with many venues in Haarlem, cafes, musea. So it's like a community thing, and they all take care of their own program. And we just try to get everybody involved. So there's the music part in the evening. There's the record fair on Saturday and Sunday, which we were really keen on having it free of charge, so everybody can go there. So it's outdoor, because for us it was important to get the young collector involved as well. And if you already have to pay like 10 or 15 euros admission, you might not come, because that's the budget you have to buy 1 or 2 records.
Exactly.
So that's outdoor. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we also have a conference during the day with topics just for vinyl lovers, music lovers in general. An example is, for instance, and I'm really curious for that, what's inside the sleeve? I mean, record shop owners buy collections of people, or dead people, or people want to get rid of their vinyl. But what do you find in a record sleeve sometimes? So you probably know the stories like shopping notes or love letters or things like that. So we have 2 people telling about what they just find in the collections. We have some classic albums we discussed. Colleen Murphy from the BBC has the classic album Sunday. You may have heard.
Yes.
She's a great one to interview, by the way.
She's in the book.
Vinyl. Oh, she's in the book.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Colleen will come and she talks about Aladdin Insane on Saturday and the White Album on Sunday with one of the producers, I think, Ken. And we have some more classic albums, like musicians coming over to tell about how they recorded it, or a band telling about the 10 records that changed their lives, so it's a really diverse list of topics which we'll be passing by. So I'm really looking forward to that. And prior to the Haarlem Vinyl Festival, we have Making Vinyl, which decided to join us for the festival. So the music professionals will be in town as well from Wednesday.
It's going to be really exciting. I hope we'll be able to make it.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
You're a busy lady.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Yeah. So let's see what we'll continue with the festival, because we're quite motivated to keep it a yearly festivity, because Haarlem can use something like that. And vinyl, I mean, when we started with the festival, everybody was so enthusiastic about it because it's so appealing. Well, you both know that because you're in the business. Vinyl just it's an emotional thing. So people really like to be involved or do something with it. Or once you start talking about it, people get enthusiastic and they get their fantasies about what they could do with it. So we hope we can continue with this for the next years as well.
Yeah. And we'll absolutely shout out and tag everywhere that people can find those things. And hopefully be able to attend. So with that, Robin, would you like to ask our question this time?
Yeah, sure. So because you have been involved in making records for so long, this is going to be a tough one for you. But
okay.
Instead of the desert island question, where we're like, what 5 albums did you take with you to a desert island? We posed the question, if you could make any 7-inch record for your own collection, that had anything on the A side and anything on the B side, a custom 7-inch record that is only yours, what would that record be?
Oh my! So I can choose 2 tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because
I'm
it's
actually-
at 45. It's like it can be like a 5-minute. Yeah, there you go.
I'm looking like, okay, which one? Oh, well, can I? Where's my phone?
Yes.
Because I have I recently was asked to make a list for a record label, and I actually have an Eternal 13 on my Spotify list. That's the tracks people should play on my funeral. They don't have to say anything, just play these 13 tracks and I'm fine. Let's just go through that.
Yeah.
Because it's got, and it is a momentum. I mean, in a month it can be different. But I would like You Do Something to Me from Paul Weller on one side, and on the other side, Massive Attack, Unfinished Sympathy.
Ooh.
But next week it can be different.
That's okay. Right now, it's all good.
Yeah, so it's a bit slow, but next week it could be a dance track. I, for instance, like Fred Again a lot. I don't know if you know him.
You don't.
Okay, well, you should listen to him. Yeah. But for now, it's a bit like more emotional tracks.
It's okay. We're
Awesome.
heading into fall season, which is,
Yes.
when all of the spooky vibes start to happen. We're here for it always.
Yeah,
I am ready.
yeah. The leaves are falling. Yeah, not yet. I'm still I still leave for Kos, for the Greek island next week as a summer holiday. So
Great.
Very nice.
yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you for spending time with us today. Really,
Yeah.
it's really
Well-
great to finally meet you. Kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it didn't. I mean, I didn't really realize you're recording it, and it will be online, because it was just a really great conversation with 2 amazing women.
Thank you.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah. We really appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to make it happen.
Totally.
Yes.
Yes.
And I hope to meet you in person soon.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
All right.
All right, Anouk. Well, thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thanks for your time.
Yes. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Join the conversation on social media at Women in Vinyl. We want to hear from you. Shoot us a message for topics you want to hear, feedback, and more to info@womeninvinyl.com. Huge shout out and thank you for all our supporters, affiliates, and sponsors like Marshall Headphones. Visit our website, womeninvinyl.com, for ways to get involved, and you can always contribute to the education, demystification, and diversification of the vinyl industry by donating at womeninvinyl.com/donate. See you next time.
This episode has been brought to you by Women in Vinyl and Red Spade Records. Thank you for listening. Please remember to subscribe, and you can always contact us directly by visiting www.womeninvinyl.com.